Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent. You don't have to smile, Batman. We're getting used to this camera. Anyway, we show all our faults here. Anyway, my name is Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with the IRS. I've been doing this for 50 years. I worked at IRS a decade. I've been in private practice for 4 decades. So actually in August of this year, I'll be doing this for 50 years. I do IRS tax resolution matters, and I have a whole team of tax attorneys and former IRS agents, CPAs. And if you want to take a look at us or my video clips for being on the news, you can look at 777irs.com. Today I have one person who's on my team. He's a criminal tax attorney. I know he doesn't look like he's been doing this for 48 years, but he has been. He's been doing this for 48 years, and a lot of people have been actually texting me or asking me or calling me, hey, what happens during a criminal investigation? So I work the civil side, so I figured as you're asking me the criminal questions, and some of you may need to hire a criminal attorney, I'd at least like you to hear from David Hoynes, who will explain different processes. So David, once let's pretend someone becomes a target of IRS. Could you tell us a little bit of the process, what that's like?
Yeah, I can. What you're really saying is that the fraud guys, the CID guys, criminal investigators, have opened a file on you. And what they do is they'll go out and they'll try to interview you first. And that's the first time most taxpayers learn that they've got a problem. These are not auditors. These guys are criminal investigators. They're a whole separate division of the IRS, and they're federal law enforcement people.
Would you say it's fair to say that they're there to put you in prison?
Well,
would you say that's fair?
Well, they're there they're there not only to put you in prison, but to find out if you're not a candidate for it. And that's where the taxpayer really needs to get on the ball. And that's the purpose of this video, because there are 4 different stages of a criminal investigation by the IRS. First phase is the investigation. That means that the criminal guys have opened a file. They want to look more and deeper into what you're doing. Mm-hmm. The second stage is after that person or people, they usually work in pairs, but they then make a report to the supervisor of their group, and at that point in time the taxpayer has the right to try to convince the group supervisor that this isn't a case they need to deal with, they ought to go do something better. So at this stage what's happened is that we've tried to deal with the investigator at that level, but the investigators kicked it up to his supervisor. If the supervisor doesn't go for it, then they kick it up to what's called regional counsel's office within all this is within the Treasury Department. And you have an opportunity right there to, again, with your lawyer, of course, to try and convince a regional counsel's office that they got better things to do than focus on you, at least from a criminal standpoint. Maybe it's a civil deal or something like that, but the final one is it moves from Treasury, if there's a recommendation from Treasury to proceed with prosecution, it goes to the Justice Department. The Justice Department does all of the prosecutions, all the court work really, civil and criminal, for the Department of Justice. And you have another opportunity because they take their own independent view of it to see whether or not you fit their criteria for indictment. And I will also tell you they are very, very particular on who they take because they don't want to lose any case. And their conviction rate is about 95%. So they rarely lose.
So David, but what you're saying is you can try to stop this procedure at 2 or 3 different places before it gets to DOJ. Is that what you're saying?
Three cases.
Three different phases to stop the case.
And then you got DOJ. I've stopped I've stopped them right there, you know, convinced them that they need to do something else. One time with a pretty notorious character too, whose name I won't divulge, but convincing DOJ to go home and go do something else was a bit of a challenge, but we managed to show that we had a legitimate defense that they were going to have to deal with. And if they lost the case, it would lead to lots of bad publicity for them. So instead, they just took a pass and went after another target.
So anyway, we briefly wanted to go ahead and let you know what a criminal investigation like. If you think you're a process, or you know someone who at least needs explanations of things, and if someone needs to explain that to you, you're welcome to consult with David Hoynes here. His information will be below. My information will not. You can contact his office directly. He's an excellent a criminal tax attorney. Like I said, he's been doing this for 48 years, and I do appreciate you listening. We're going to have a series of other videos. If you'd like us to do more videos, leave them in my comments section. I'll pass them on to David, and you'll probably see them in the near future. So I do appreciate, like I said, the subscription, and you'll look to hear from us again. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time today.
Adios.
Wow, you actually closed something. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, very good. Wait, delete. I want to save this.